All right, good morning, everybody. It is Jay again, and today we are going to be talking about a fruit that is not only super delicious, but is also not very familiar with the people here in the Valley or a lot of people here in the United States. So this is an amazing fruit, and I'm kind of glad nobody has heard about these quite yet because it is sort of more the merrier for me. And what I mean by that is, if you're ever at the nursery, I do like to share a lot of my fruit, and I will pick fruit off the trees to give to customers or clients as they come by and they want to try the different fruits. But if you ever see me here at the nursery and I kind of bend down and pick something up and slip it in my pocket, well, then that means that's probably actually one of the best fruits here, and might be one that I don't exactly want to share. So what is this fruit, or what are we talking about today? So we are talking about lemon Cattleya guavas, and actually we're going to be talking a little bit about its cousin, the strawberry guava, also. And I'm going to see if I can get some of you in the valley interested in planting this fruit tree, because not only is it an amazing fruit, but the tree is quite spectacular also on its own. All right, so the plant or the fruit tree on its own is quite a spectacular tree. It's got several advantages here in the valley. Not only does it have its amazing fruit, but it also has a couple little keynotes that you guys might be interested in as far as planting one of these fruit trees. So the very first thing that I can say about this tree is it is a very hardy fruit tree. This is a guava tree. This happens to be an evergreen, which is really nice because this plant does not lose its leaves during the winter like the tropical guavas do. As a matter of fact, this plant during the middle of the winter is actually actively growing and putting on flowers and fruits, as you can see right here. So this tree does not freeze back. There's no worry about the cold like you have to worry about on the tropical type guavas. This guava tree, you do not have to worry about the cold. So it is a nice tree to have evergreen in your yard all year long, and you don't have to worry about it freezing back like you do on the tropical guavas. Another cool thing about this tree is it does awesome in the full sun. So a lot of trees burn up here in Arizona, guys, especially tropical trees. It's very hard to get those established, but when you've got a tree like this, which is almost a gimme, this is definitely one that you would want to add to your food forest. So it does really well in the wintertime. It does really well in the summertime. And it always seems to be putting on new blooms and fruit pretty much all year long. So there's really not a time period that you're not eating fruit off of this fruit tree, okay? So it is definitely winter hardy, which is good for a lot of you, especially if you're wanting to do tropical type trees. It is summer hardy, which means it's not going to burn up in the full sun. And I'll tell you, one of the very coolest aspects about this particular tree is it looks exactly like a ficus tree. Now, what is a ficus tree? Well, ficus trees, guys, are planted down here in Arizona in mass. I mean, I've seen ficus trees on pretty much every single property here in Arizona. And I would dare you to take a leaf off of this plant and take this up to any nursery here in the valley, any nursery, pick one. And you take that leaf in there to them, and they're going to tell you that this is a ficus tree. Don't tell them what it is, just ask them what they think this leaf is from, and they're going to tell you it is a ficus, okay? So ficus trees are not hardy during the winter. So ficus trees freeze at the top. You get a lot of cold damage on ficus trees, whereas you don't on these, and they literally look identical. Like I said, you're not gonna find anybody that's gonna know the difference between these leaves and a ficus. And also the little fruits look like the little fruits that a ficus tree puts on, although those are unedible and these are edible. So what are the advantages of this? Well, you can use this as a hedge tree, right? And so instead of buying so many of these ficus trees that are that I'm just gonna come out and say it. They're boring, guys. They're boring. So yeah, they give you some good shade, but that's it. They're a water hog. They died back in the wintertime. And to me, I would rather, if I'm going to water something, I would rather get fruit off of it. So we've been planting a lot of these trees as hedges now and been replacing the ficus tree here in the valley because, one, I think these do look a lot better, and they also do provide a lot of that fruit like I showed you before. So excellent, excellent fruit. You can see this one's slightly green, but this one will turn yellow on the counter as I let it ripen, and it'll look like the ones in the bowl, which I will be showing you here in just a moment. Okay, so I can probably guarantee you after this video, there's going to be a lot more of these trees showing up in the valley, especially as hedge trees, because that's exactly what they're good for. Now, there are several varieties of this variety, okay? So you have to remember that this tree in particular, the lemon guava, has sort of gotten a bad rap or a bad name in the valley because of a few growers that have grown this tree here in the valley. Now, I'll tell you the difference. On those is those trees are planted more for a landscaping situation. So they need to be hardy, okay? So imagine if you're buying a tree at a box store, like say Lowe's, Home Depot, Costco, one of the box stores. They're in it for the hardiness of the plant, okay? They don't want you to return trees. They don't care at all whatsoever about the flavor of the fruit or the fruit quality. So the way that this has been given a bad name or a bad rap or not known about here in the valley is because somebody tried growing the one from Lowe's, and it had the small fruits on them that are very astringent, and they are not very good because that tree was selected for strength. Okay, you got to remember, they're either selected for strength or they're selected for fruit quality. So what you have to do is you need to get the large leaf variety, and the large leaf variety is the one that's going to provide the large fruits that are extremely good and tasty. So this comes in a version that has these larger leaves on it, and then it comes in a version that has a smaller leaf, and that smaller leaf is going to be the one that does not provide very good fruit for you. So what you're after is the large leaf variety, and this is the one that I carry here at my nursery. I've actually got quite a few of these stocked up because we do build a lot of hedges with these now. You can see that this makes a beautiful hedge and a beautiful tree. So this is planted at my property actually, and I just put this one in not too long ago, and it's already a pretty good size. It's, you know, my height, 6 foot tall, and it is already producing a ton of fruit. And it is also here on the hottest side of my yard, which this gets no cover because it is the neighbor's fence basically. Okay, so you're after the large leaf variety, and it's called a lemon Cattleya guava, and it tastes nothing like lemon. So that's another thing that throws people off is the name lemon. Well, I don't want it to taste like a lemon or be a little bit sour. Well, it's not, okay? So yellow or lemon is just referring to the color of this particular fruit. So it's called a lemon Cattleya guava, and it is going to have that yellow fruit. So what does the fruit taste like? Well, that's a very good question because it is an amazing flavor, and it is one of those type of flavors where it is unique unto itself. So it's almost very hard to compare this fruit to another fruit because it is unique, and there are a few of those out there that are like that. The best way that I can sort of describe this fruit would be a guava mixed with a fig mixed with a watermelon. And I know that kind of sounds like a smorgasbord of flavors there, but that's really kind of what it is. It's very complex. Now, I will also tell you that this hits a palate of, let's say, the American palate. Okay, I don't really have another better way to put that. So when you're dealing with guavas, you have to realize that guavas are usually a fruit that comes from a foreign country. So a lot of foreigners are actually used to the flavor of a guava. But if you are not, then it might taste a little bit off-putting to you, a little bit funky maybe, not like a papaya, not like quite funky like that, but it's more of like an acquired taste. It's more of a floral type flavor, and a lot of the people in this country are not used to that flavor. So if you're wanting to try a guava for the first time and you're not exactly sure if you're going to like them, then I would definitely recommend that you try either the lemon Cattleya guava, which is this one, or I recommend that you try the strawberry guava, which I will show you here in just a moment. And I think if you try those two first, you will be very keen on growing guavas, and it might be more of an easier acquired taste than an actual guava tree, guys. And that's been my experience with dealing with customers, okay? So this is very, very sweet, full sun plant, hardy through the winter, delicious fruit, provides a really good barrier and a wind block and a privacy screen. And since you guys are all planting ficus trees anyway, I suppose you might as well at least throw one or two of these in there too, so that you can actually get some fruit off of them, because they pump on the fruit, guys. I mean, there's so much fruit on this thing. It is ridiculous. Every single branch has not only fruit developing, but new buds again and new blooms, and this kind of thing's kind of like fruiting all the time. So you can see there's some more there, some more there. They're literally covering the tree. Look at this huge set right here. So tons and tons of fruit. Look at all the flowers. Like, this is absurd. Hoping all these kind of show through. But you never seen so many fruit on a plant like this. And what's cool about these is they are little snack size. So you can just kind of grab these, pop them in your mouth, and go. So what I usually do is I pick a whole handful of these, and then as I'm walking around the nursery all day, I will pop one in my mouth and eat them. These are delicious. So let's look at the inside of one of these, and then I will show you a few more of these trees as I have them available, and I will show you the strawberry guava also. All right, so we're back to our little bowl of fruit here. And the other sort of complaint that I've heard from these before too is also that the fruit is too small to eat. And I'll tell you, that's not a very small fruit, guys. That's a pretty good sized little guava, especially since, like I said, they're kind of tough on the outside. So you can put these in your pocket and kind of transport these around until you're actually ready to eat them. So they are a good size fruit. As you can see there in my hand, there's not exactly bird food. They are a really good sized fruit. So let's bite into one of these and take a look on the inside so that you guys can see what the inside of these look like. And you basically you eat the whole thing. So I'm going to take a bite out of this one and kind of show you guys what the inside looks like. Oh my gosh. All right. So they actually keep getting better. Man, I don't even know if I should be doing this video. This is an excellent fruit, guys. Excellent fruit. That is probably one of the sweetest, most flavorful fruits that I've ever eaten. And you can see that they do have some seeds there on the inside, but you don't actually, bite down on these and chew it like you would like a piece of meat or something. These are kind of meant to be put in your mouth and kind of rummaged around as you get the flavor of the fruit and that creaminess there in between the seeds. Oh my gosh, that's good. That is really good. So yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't know if I should be making this video. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one off, and then I am going to show you some of the smaller trees, and then I will show you the strawberry guava. But I'll tell you guys, if you've never had a guava before, oh my gosh, that's one you want to start with, because that's one that's going to win the whole family over as far as flavor goes. That is an absolutely delicious fruit. And comment below if you've had them, because if you've had them before, then you know how delicious they are. But you got to remember, a lot of people have not had this fruit. Okay, so these are some of the trees that I have here at the nursery, and you can see that these guys are out here in full sun, full Arizona sun, which they will remain the entire summer. And you can see that they've got a bunch of new growth on them. They are not burnt at all whatsoever, and they are a beautiful color even sitting out here in the full sun, kind of roasting in pots. Now, like I said before, you want to make sure that you find the one that has the giant leaf on them, and they will also have a large spacing between the leaves. That'll tell you that you've got the correct one. Also, you have to consider that the lemon guava is a little bit lighter in color. So this one is going to be sort of a lime green color, and anytime you have a leaf that is this color in Arizona, you know it's going to do really well in the full sun. The darker leaves, like the strawberry guava, which I will show you here in just a moment, has a much darker leaf. So that one is not exactly full sun. That one's going to be more like a morning sun, afternoon shade type situation until you get them a little bit larger. Once you've got the tree a little bit larger, then it can handle the full sun no matter what the plant is at that particular moment. All right, so I grow a bunch of these, like I said before, so they look really good as a hedge, and that's sort of how I have them back here at the back of the nursery. You can kind of see that I've got the lemon guavas kind of lined up here as a hedge, and man, they just look excellent. And also out here blooming and putting on fruit. Now, the more they mature, the better and the bigger and the more fruit that you're going to get. So obviously, if you start with a larger tree, this one happens to be in a 15 gallon, and this one is roughly the same size as the one that I planted in my yard. But they do grow very, very quickly, especially when given good sun. They are going to really jump out of the ground. But like I said, make sure you get this large leaf version. If you get the small leaf version of this, you're going to be mad at me, and you're going to put a comment in the video section that says you suck, and I don't want to hear that. So I'm telling you guys, look for the large leaf variety of the lemon guava, and you will be extremely happy with your purchase. Like I said, I carry a lot of these here at my nursery if you're interested, because I've been planting and growing these for a long time, and now that I see that they work so well as a hedge, then I have really beefed up on production of this plant. So you can do this plant by air layers, or you can do this plant by cuttings, or you can do this plant by grafting if you want to. There are several ways to propagate this plant. Now let's talk about the strawberry guava, because I'm sure that's piqued at least a few of your interests, because if you think the lemon guava is this good, then imagine how good the strawberry guava is, okay? It is also delicious. It's going to be a little bit of a different flavor, okay? Obviously the strawberry, it's going to have a little bit of that strawberry tonality in there, okay? Now, it also has a much darker leaf, like I said before. So this is one. This is a strawberry guava here. This is a strawberry guava here. And I know you probably can't tell by the video, but they have substantially darker leaves. They are also a little bit more sensitive. So the strawberry guava needs a little bit of shade until he's a little bit bigger. But also, once they get bigger, they are able to handle that extra light and heat. So I've got a nice big strawberry guava back here in a pot. Let's look at it real quick. All right, so this is a really large strawberry guava, and this happens to be in a pot at the very back of the nursery here. This is a big one. This is probably a 45 or 65 gallon pot. And you can see that this tree has kind of grown into the shape of this corner, and it has also grown way up there into the full sun. So this tree is about, I'm gonna guess, right around 12 feet tall, It is in the full sun. And if I could get up there to the top of that especially, there are so many blooms up there, you wouldn't know what to do with all the fruit. So, you cannot beat this plant really, especially if you're in Arizona or a desert type environment where they do this type of landscaping here, because this is a beautiful tree. And like I said before, you do not know the difference between this and a ficus. Like the average person and probably the average nursery person, I'm going to say 99 out of 100 are going to tell you that this is a ficus tree, because those leaves look identical. They are the same shape, they are the same color, they are waxy, exactly like the ficus are. The little blooms look like the little ficus blooms. So I'm telling you guys, there's not a better plant that you could choose for doing a hedge or even a large tree in a food forest is this strawberry or lemon Cattleya guavas. These are two of my absolute favorite fruits. Now the strawberry is also prolific. I mean, it's got tons of buds too. You can see them. So these fruits are going to be a little bit smaller. So they're going to be a little bit smaller than the lemon guavas, but they are also more prolific, meaning they're going to have way more fruit on them. So you're sacrificing a little bit of the size for a little bit of the production. Also, they're going to be red. That's why they're called strawberry guavas, because they're red, and the lemon ones are called lemon because they are yellow. And that's really about the most association that it gets with those plants. And you will notice that with a lot of plants, they're called, you know, something that they're not because of the color that they are or whatnot, okay? But I'm telling you guys, I don't say this very often. I've tried pretty much every fruit on the planet, and there are several fruits that I, one, don't share with really anybody. I'm sort of greedy with, and this is one of those plants. And also it checks all the boxes as far as hardiness goes, winter hardiness goes, full sun goes, production goes. It's beautiful, it's got flowers, it attracts butterflies, it attracts hummingbirds, it attracts bees. It'll add some evergreen to your yard all the time, so it's going to pick the humidity up in your yard. And even if you never ate the fruit, I'm sure somebody would. So I'm sure you could definitely share this with somebody and know that it's so overbearing that you'll be able to share quite a few of these fruits. So I'm telling you guys, I don't get excited about very many fruits anymore because, like I said, I've had them all. But this is one that I think probably every single person in the valley should have at least one, or start with these. Or if you do plan on building a hedge of these and you need a whole bunch of these, let me know, because I do propagate these all the time. And what a fun, delicious fruit. And if you would like to come try them, then when these fruits are setting, or the lemon guavas, then I will definitely share some with the public so you guys can get a taste of what these taste like, so that you will want a plant for yourself. All right, guys, that is about all the information I can think of right now on this plant. We have been talking about the lemon Cattleya guava, the large leaf, and we are talking about the strawberry guava, the large leaf. We are not talking about the ones that you can go get up at a box store. I realize that they sell them. I've seen them there myself before, okay? Try the fruit on those. Those are going to be very astringent, but the plant is going to be very hardy. And I'm not after the plant, I'm after the fruit. So you have to remember that there are different varieties of basically everything you can get your hands on. So if you're at a nursery, you want to request one of these, make sure you get the large leaf variety. Do not buy one that is from a box store, guys. I know it sounds sexy. They're 30 bucks and you're off to the races, but you will not enjoy those fruits, and I will hear it in the comment section. So definitely pick these up from a nursery, from a known cultivar or a known grower like myself, so that you know you are getting exactly what you're wanting, or exactly these fruit trees that I am talking about, and not just any old fruit tree. Because that's a very common misconception, is a fruit tree is a fruit tree is a fruit tree. You know, every mulberry tastes the same. And no, guys, that is not the case. There is a reason why plants are selected by nurseries and growers because of the better fruit. They'll grow 200 of these, they'll try them all, and then they'll pick the best of the best, and then they'll propagate that plant. That's what good nurseries do, or good growers or good propagators. That's what we do. We search for the best because all genetics are not going to be the same. Why would they be? Nothing else is like that either, right? Apples aren't like that either. Go try to buy an apple as an apple as an apple, and you'll be sorely disappointed when you get a crab apple. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. That is the lemon guava and the strawberry guava. These are definitely two you need to add. Thank you for watching.